What's going on, everybody? My name is Dan.
And I'm Marlene.
Welcome to Molly Mish. We've been back in the US now for about a couple of months. We spent 4 years in Europe. And since we've been back, we've been trying to handle a bunch of stuff, including like doctor's visits, you know, different dentist errands that we have to do.
DMV. Exciting
passports.
Stuff. Yeah, all the exciting stuff.
Everything that we've neglected. Yeah. So one of the really exciting things that we got to do actually is go to this event called Overland Expo West. This is an event that a lot of our friends have gone to in the past, and we've never been to one. It just so happened that our timing was perfect for us to be in Flagstaff when this was happening. And while we were there, we worked with our friends at Dometic, and also they introduced us to the folks at Frontrunner Outfitters US. They're actually headquartered in Agoura Hills, which is only about an hour north of where we are now. And one of the things that we wanted to do when we were still in Europe is install a Frontrunner roof rack on our van. They have had roof racks, and in fact, roof rack is kind of what they specialize in. And they have had roof racks for all kinds of different vehicles in the past, but never ones that are specific for large European style vans like the ProMaster or the Transit or the Sprinter. We had heard a year ago that they were making one, so we got really excited about it. We kept asking and asking our friends at Dometic because they've become part of the same company as of a year ago. They kept telling us it's coming, and finally at the Overland Expo West show, we saw it in person.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. It's exactly what we wanted. It's a super low profile van rack that can accommodate a lot of different things like we already have. So we got in touch with Frontrunner, and they agreed to work with us on putting actually the first ever, it's called the SlimPro van rack on our van in the US. The only other one before ours. I don't know if there's been more since, but we are the first end users to get this rack on our van.
I feel
so
special.
We were very excited about it. Definitely felt special.
Yeah.
And especially when we went to Agoura Hills, met a bunch of the Frontrunner guys, and specifically we worked directly with Tucker and Jacob, who were doing the install for us. We also worked with Samir, who is the marketing person at the Agoura Hills office. They were really gracious. They actually let us camp in their parking lot for 3 nights because it was a 3-day install. We first had to take everything off the top of our van and figure out what we could keep, what we couldn't keep, and then put everything back on. So, you know, the first thing we did is we wanted to be there first thing Monday morning, so we actually got there the night before.
Right, and we parked right in front of the building in this little parking spot. And like,
they had 1 parking spot. The other 2 were, there were 3, the other 2 were handicapped.
Yeah.
They had 1 parking spot that's in the front. I don't know why that parking spot is there, because all the parking is in the back, but at night it's locked behind a gate. So we couldn't park in the back where people normally park. And they didn't know we were coming at night.
So we squeezed in there, and then we crossed our fingers that we wouldn't get a police knock in the middle of the night.
It is also right next to Highway 101.
So loud.
So it's pretty loud.
Yeah. And
it's kind of like in an industrial area, so I don't think there's a lot of people that would complain. So I felt like we were going to be okay, but I just knew that it was going to be loud. We actually didn't get started till about 10:30, 11 o'clock because there was another person getting a rack installed on their like Range Rover or something like that. I wanted to kind of talk you guys through the process and what we got done and our thought process behind the things that we got installed and our experience working with Tucker, Jacob, Samir. One of the really cool things about the Frontrunner shop in Agoura Hills is that they have this what they call experience center. You can go into the showroom and there is like a really cool old Mercedes G-Wagon that came from South Africa. Frontrunner is from South Africa. That's where they're originally from, and now they're worldwide. They're all over South Africa, US, Europe, South America, Australia. I mean, anywhere anybody has dirt roads to drive on, they're there. They have a really cool G-Wagon there It's all set up in there like it's a camp spot with like the awning out, with like a little fake fire with.
Yeah, they have like their barbecue.
Little barbecue
grill.
set up. And they don't just sell FrontRunner stuff there. They actually they're a reseller of a few other companies' products. So it's kind of cool to see. You can kind of go in there with your rig and just kind of kit it out exactly the way you want it. So that was really cool to see. And we also kind of got to walk around the showroom and kind of decide what kind of stuff we want to put on our rack. So we decided on a handful of things. But before we get that far, though, we have to first plan out these next 2 or 3 days, because at first we thought we'd just get through this in 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
We thought 1 day is too short. We're gonna need a second day, but it turns out we needed 3 full days.
They really listened to all our needs and how we would use what we needed on the roof rack, and then customize it just for our family, which was awesome, because everybody's gonna have a unique setup on top, and it's totally customizable. So we just needed to talk through a bunch of things to get it right for our family's use.
Before we took everything off, we have a Dometic PerfectWall awning. That we knew we were keeping for sure. We had 350 watts of solar that we've had for the last 4 years, which has worked really well for us. We were hoping to be able to keep that, but we knew that was going to be problematic because it's really wide. It spans the entire width of the roof. And then we had a 7-gallon road shower, which for the last couple of years we had felt like that it was dead weight, that we didn't want it anymore because we weren't really using it. And then we also had a couple of just Pelican style boxes up there, and they weren't Pelican brand, but you know, they were something that we needed to put on the roof to kind of gain some more storage space. They took up a lot of space and didn't store a lot of stuff. So we knew that we wanted to switch over to some of the boxes that FrontRunner had. And also, lastly, we wanted to take off our aluminum sand ladders that we bought in Europe, which those sand ladders were serving as a platform for those Pelican style boxes that we were using. And to get to it was really a lot of work. It takes about an hour to remove all the stuff just to get to the sand ladders if we were ever to get stuck.
Yeah, we didn't ever need them.
We never used them for what they were made for.
Yeah, but if we needed to,
yeah,
we had a lot of cursing in time.
But we weren't going to use them as recovery boards anymore, because we have now 2 sets of Maxtrax that we were going to use, and those have a really cool angle mounted side mount for Maxtrax that we can really get quick access to, and without taking up any roof space.
So that's one of the things we chose.
We decided at the end of the day that those solar panels were not going to work.
Yeah, they're too wide.
They wanted to make sure at the end of the day that everything was bolted down so we could drive the car out of their bay, and you know, if we have to go eat or go shopping or whatever, we had our car, so it couldn't just be kind of resting. But at the end of the day, we decided that it was going to be too much to try to figure out how to get that to work. At that point, we removed the solar panel from the roof, and that was as bare as we've seen our van for 4 years.
I think it still has dust on it from Morocco.
Oh yeah,
from the Sahara Desert. It just seems like there's a lot of dirt under those panels.
And the other thing too is during this time, we put our battery to the test.
Right.
Because we were parked indoors all day on the first day, so we didn't get solar charge. And by the end of the day, we took the solar panel off. So when we finally backed out of the bay to the parking lot outside, there was still a couple hours of sun left, but we have no solar anymore. And I realized, you know what, I can just plug in the charge, but then I forgot that I still have European style shore power plug, so I couldn't plug in either. So throughout this 3-day session, my battery went down to like 20%, which is pretty good.
Good test.
Yeah, it's a good test. So at the end of the day, we backed out, and I go through sort of a wrap up of what we've done in the parking lot, so you guys can check that out. So we're done for day 1. That was well, we didn't start at 8 o'clock like we were hoping to. We started at probably closer to 10:30, 11 o'clock. Trying to shut this gate. We've actually just got the side rails mounted, but the big work was in getting all the stuff off and then assembling these side rails and then also assembling the crossbars. There are going to be 10 total crossbars. 8 of them are assembled inside. We're done for the day now, so they shut the store down, but we're sleeping back here in the yard. I wouldn't say never, but we haven't had the van this bare. Even when we came today, we still had our awning and our solar panels on it. But right now, there's nothing up there that we put up in these last 4 years. All right, as you can see, nothing is left up here except our 2 fantastic fans, which obviously are staying, our little MC4 connector with the pass-through gland for our solar, and then the 2 things we installed are these side rails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 towers each that goes into the factory tracks, or in our case the VanTech tracks. They're super sturdy even without the crossbars. And once you got the crossbars on there, it's going to be very sturdy. And then we're going to do as many Wolfpack Pro rooftop boxes as we can. Okay, and over here is their shop van. This is the front runner shop van that stays here. We saw this van at Overland Expo, and it's got the same rack, the exact same rack that we're getting put on. So you can see, obviously this one's got a bunch of accessories on it. All the lights, the little rollers back there for like kayaks and canoes or surfboards or whatever. Yeah, this is their prototype ladder, which is really nice. It's smaller than our aluminous ladder, but I like it because it matches and it goes right into the roof rack. This is what the crossbars look like all the way down. There are 10 of them, and then you can see these are the upper side rails that we're probably not going to put on. And then these are the 100-watt ZampSolar panels that we're going to put on there instead of ours. So we'll get 4 of those. This is what the roof rack looks like. Day 1 of our roof rack install. Because we don't have our solar panels on right now, we actually aren't charging, and we've been parked inside all day, so we haven't been charging all day. We're probably okay though, because we didn't use anything inside today. We were sitting in their lounge, drinking their coffee, eating their chips.
Had too much coffee, I think.
I think we have too much coffee. We should go for a walk though.
Yeah, we should.
That's day 1 of our front runner rack install. We will see you guys tomorrow for day 2. Okay, so day 2. We woke up, the Range Rover guy came back. He has some problems.
Yeah, a little tweak.
He has some little tweaking he want to get done. That's how good these guys are. You know, they do an install and then the customer come back and they just like, even though they have other things booked, they let him come in and they tweak and then they fix the guy. They make sure they send him away happy. So that was only like a half-hour delay. You know, we were happy to just snooze a little bit longer. So second day, what we did is, by the way, this whole time they have this really nice lounge, and with like these little like bags of, you know, Doritos and Cheetos and whatever, and also have this like espresso machine.
Yeah, you put the little cup in.
Yeah, the little, you know, the
Whatever
little
fancy
coffee things that
coffee.
are terrible for the environment, but it's really good coffee.
It's a cool place to
TV,
hang out, do school.
Big yeah, good internet, big TV, but they had about like a promotional video. You guys have probably seen some of these videos. If you go to Frontrunner's website, you'll see some of these. They're sort of like actor portrayals of how these products work inside a garage. And then a bunch of other stuff that they shot. That's all really well done, except we were in there for 3 days and then they just on a continuous loop. And then we timed it. It's about an hour and like 15 minutes for each loop. So we would watch these videos over and over again with a really low volume. So you couldn't really hear what they were saying, but you know, we were watching. So we got to know these videos really well. And it's also showing off the products. So it kind of helped us too, because we got to know the products really well while we were watching what's all available. But some of the stuff is about 4 or 5 years old now. So some of the new stuff isn't in the videos. What we did is we decided to go with the ZampSolar, and then we decided to go with a few other things. We wanted 4 of these. They're called grab handle rail mounts. They mount on the side rails, and they're set up so they're strong enough so you can grab and pull yourself up. Then there's also a little hole on the bottom so you can mount a little rock light. They're not super powerful floodlights. They're just like a small little light that kind of lights up a spot down below. We also decided to go with a light bar in the front. And this light bar, when I saw some videos, it's unbelievable. It's like 6,000 lumens. And it's
like a half a kilometer or something.
It lights, yeah, it lights up to a half a kilometer forward in front of you. So we've never had really good lights for driving off-road in the dark. So when we get to a place and we're going down the dirt road, if we get there late, it's really difficult for us to see. So we decided to get some lights. So we got those mounted, but we haven't wired them in yet. That's going to be a second phase. We decided to get one of these antenna mounts that you can mount anywhere on the rails, so we can put our booster antenna on it.
Got 4 100-watt ZAMP panels.
Obsidian panels. We saw these panels at Overland Expo. When they brought 4 of them to us at Front Runner, I was really surprised at how strong they were. So, and then the way that they mount to the Front Runner racks is really cool too, because underneath the railing there's a slot all the way around the solar panel, so you can really position them in infinite ways. Yeah. Versus our other panel, you have to drill holes, you know, and if you drill in the wrong place, you have to drill a different one somewhere else, you know. So it's all like, compared to what we had before, our setup was super Mickey Mouse.
I feel embarrassed rolling in there with our like DIY thing, but we're also proud and
embarrassed. Before, I was really proud of all the stuff we had on the roof.
But now, like, the rail of the rack is so low profile, and the panels are so low, and that light bar, it's just like, it's really sleek. It's nice.
It is overall taller because of the Maxtrax mount, and also the boxes we got in the back were taller. We were hoping to get a lot more boxes on there. And that was the one thing that we didn't get to do, just because, you know, the logistics of having the boxes, how they open. If you put them too close, then it's difficult for them to open.
We also have 2 fantastic fans that are already mounted, so we had to work around that.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the reasons why we had to wait for this rack to be available, because other people have had front runner racks on their Sprinter vans before, but they were using their slimline sort of universal racks. That's kind of like a platform, like a square shape. So people will put 2 of them on a roof of a Sprinter, but that wouldn't work for us, because if you put one in the front and put one in the back, those, you didn't have the ability to customize the crossbar slats. So you wouldn't have space to be able to have your fans or vents underneath it.
Makes sense.
So this rack had to happen for us to get a custom rack on there. You know, and compared to a lot of these other rack companies, and there's a lot of great rack companies out there, you know, other ones like where they just design the rack and it's all one piece, the end product is one piece, means that you have to really know exactly what you want from the get-go. And if you want to change your mind later on, you can't change your mind. So this is super customizable, super flexible. And I can just go up there with an Allen key and just start moving stuff around. And then when you tighten it back down, it tightens down really solid.
Yeah, and one of the things, and the last thing that we mounted on there was the Starlink. What is that called?
It's an angle mount. It's actually from Starlink. So we found the Starlink comes with this stand, which is like a 3-legged tripod thing. And it has holes on the end of the tripod leg, so you could just bolt those into some places, but it was going to take up way too much space. So I went on the Starlink website and I found they have an angle mount, which is only about like, I don't know, like 10 inches long, maybe 4 inches wide, footprint wise. And there's 2 holes in it. And those 2 holes, if you just adjust those crossbars on the rack to the right spacing, you can put the Starlink mount, the angle mount, right on the rack and then bolt them in with M8. M8 bolts into the M8 nylon lock nuts inside the track. So that worked out really good. That's all the way in the back. So we ended up with 4 of their Wolfpack Pro rooftop boxes. We were hoping to get between 5 to 7, but that was really optimistic.
Yeah, very.
So 4 is actually really nice spacing for us up there. So it's basically like directly behind the 4 solar panels, and then there's 2 in front of the vent, and then 2 just behind the vent. They were able to do our Dometic PerfectWall awning mount as well, and our previous awning mount was also really janky. So we asked our friend Pancho. He welded these really solid aluminum towers that goes into the track. And then while we're in Europe, we were working with Dometic Germany. Dometic sort of retrofitted some awning mounts to that, and then bolted the PerfectWall awning to those. And then I took a aluminum L-angle extrusion and used them as struts to tie it across to the other side. And that made it really solid, but there were just a lot of pieces in play.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, so our current setup is they have these prototype mounts that are made for the side rail of the rack, and then you just mount. You take one of the plates that comes with your Dometic awning, you mount it to that, and that thing bolts to the side rail, 3 of them, and then your awning just sits in there, and you put 6 set screws in, and then you're done.
It was really nice with this new railing. We got to push the awning a little bit forward, enough for when it rains, the rain won't like come into our open slider. So now we'll have more coverage. So it'll be nice.
By the end of the day too, we had all the crossbars in. We had all the solar panels bolted in, and then we had a couple of our rock lights and stuff mounted there, but it's not totally finished.
And the light bar.
And the light bar, yep. So, and then here you'll see the end of day 2 walkthrough that I did. Well, so that's day 2 of our front runner rack install. We got pretty much all of the parts that make up the rack up there, and it's all fastened, secured, it's rock solid. And also we got most of the accessories up there, and I'll show you guys what they are in a second. And most importantly, we sort of mapped out all the stuff, where all the stuff is going to go. The 2 most challenging pieces were where we were going to put the solar panels, and also how we were going to mount the awning. I believe that we are the first to get this rack in America. Today, literally, they just launched this for sale in Europe. We got 4 100-watt panels from ZampSolar. It's their new Obsidian panels. They are probably some of the nicest panels I've ever seen. They're super small, they're super slim, but at the same time, they're totally rigid. They're not flimsy at all for being the thickness that they are. In progress, 2 days in, we've got 4 panels. You can see all the crossbars are in, and these crossbars are positioned in just the right places where they need to be for the awning brackets and stuff. This is the grab handle bracket you can mount a light into. Here across the way you can see the back of our awning brackets. There are 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3 up there. And those awnings will get installed tomorrow. So here, the back part of the van, this is going to be just a bunch of Wolfpack Pro storage boxes. We're hoping to get anywhere between 5 to 7 boxes back here, if possible. So that's the goal. That's what we're going to try. But we're going to make up a wiring harness. It's going to connect them all up. It's going to go in there. And tomorrow, by this time tomorrow, we should be in business, all up and running. So day 3. We didn't think we were going to have to go to day 3, but we had to go to day 3. Because by the end of day 2, we knew we still haven't had the solar panels wired yet, because that was sort of a wrench that was thrown in there to have to redo the solar panels. And then we also don't have a lot of the other like spacing stuff figured out. This is where Tucker and Jacob, you know, were really great. They racked their brain, and they finally said, you know what, Dan, we can only do 2. If we tried 5, it's going to be problems for you later. So I said, okay.
2 on each side, so 4.
Yeah. We're going to deal with 4.
Yeah. Which is actually more room than we had in our current boxes. So
Yeah.
we're getting a lot more room. We were just being really selfish and hopeful.
We were being hopeful.
Unlike, we
were
can
being
just
hopeful.
like have nothing in our van. It's all up on top.
Because we really just wanted to have more stuff on the roof so we can have less stuff in the van. So yeah, 4 boxes, and they're taller than before, and they're easier to get to than before. So, you know, so day 3 was all about finalizing everything, getting those boxes mounted, and getting the awning set screws put in. They actually, day 3 is when they took the awning and set it in place, and then did the set screws to kind of permanently put it in. Also, we did the Maxtrax mounts.
Right, on the last day.
The last day, and then also the final thing we had to do at the end of the day was to wire all the solar panels together. So before, we had 275 watt panels wired in series, which was great for like cloudy days, and it's also great for, you know, having very low current coming down the wire. But we have 10 gauge wires coming down from the solar panel anyways, which can handle up to 30 amps. So these 4 solar panels, so really we're looking at less than 20 amps of current coming down anyways. So we decided to do them all in parallel this time. That means if we ever have shading on any one or multiple of the panels, it won't kill the output of all the panels. It's also going to be easier to sort of troubleshoot. If we ever have any panels have any issues, we'll be able to troubleshoot exactly which one it is. Whereas if you have them in series, you have to disassemble it, and then you have to test individual panels. That's day 3, and then they worked late. You know, everybody went home, and Tucker said, you know what, if Jacob wants to go home, you know, he can go, but I'll stay here until we're totally done. So they were really great, worked with us to the end. We probably made them stay like an extra hour and a half after their regular time. And they rolled us out there fully ready to go. We're super excited. We just want to thank them for all the work they did with us.
Yeah, we're super happy with how it turned out, and it's totally customized to what our family needs, so we're ready to roll again. Thanks for the panels, Zamp. We love them.
So I don't have a final day walkthrough, because when we were done, we got in the car and we left. But I do have a sort of final flyover drone shot of the entire setup. So that's what I'll show you guys for this final day. I hope you guys enjoy that. If you have any questions about this new SlimPro van rack from Front Runner Outfitters, feel free to ask them in the comments below.
And we'll link to the rack that we used and all the accessories too.
That's right. And the Dometic awning and the ZampSolar and also the Maxtrax, and also we got these Maxtrax lock pins that are perfect because you can put 2 sets of Maxtrax in there and still be able to lock them with a padlock. So we'll put all those links to the stuff that we have on the roof that you just saw in the drone video in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
So we gotta go get the cat who jumped over.
Cat's having issues.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.